Yeah, it's recording. Okay. Well, this Torbay Property Meet is very special. It's been a year since we've gone online due to COVID. But one very positive thing that has come since us going online has been we've got a much larger reach than before. And from our humble beginnings in a hotel people would call 40 Towers, we've actually got our first ever international speaker, and that's a massive tribute to our event and how we've grown, thanks to our wonderful attendees. I want to give a big shout out to Vanessa and Nick for helping promote the event, and to my very good mate, Andrew Burgess, for helping promote the event. Our guest speaker is live from Tel Aviv, Israel, which is one of Israel's most cosmopolitan and famous cities. He is the founder of one of the most famous landlord platforms worldwide. It's called Landlord. And Aviram tonight will be telling us how to lead a successful digital landlord life. So without further ado, a massive virtual round of applause all the way from Tel Aviv, Israel, Aviram Shahar.
Thank you.
Like it, Alex. Good virtual clap. Thank you.
Hello, guys. Okay, so yeah, it's a pleasure joining you from Tel Aviv. And today we are going to speak about adopting a digital landlord life. Basically, the journey of Landlord started also with our partners for Property Tribes, Vanessa and Nick. And like our vision is basically to provide landlords with digital tools that can help them be more efficient and wisely grow their property business. So a few words about Landlord. You know what, before just the agenda of what. So basically, short introduction about the Landlord, the product, the company. Then I want to touch on like 5 key principles on what basically you need to do in order to start adopting digital landlord life. So we will touch each principle with demonstration of the Landlord app. So a few words about Landlord. So Landlord is a portfolio management platform. We like to call it portfolio management rather than property management platform, because we look at the property investor and landlord as a financial investor first. And we realize that usually landlords use their property management firms or property management softwares, and we want to basically provide the high-level overview of their entire portfolio, entire investments, and the performance of their investment. We founded the company in 2019, and we launched the platform in November 2019 together with propertytribes.com that help us basically launch and introduce the platform to the community. So far, we have more than 4,000 users on the platform. We get a lot of feedback, something that really helps us basically enhance the platform, add more relevant features. And this is something that is really beneficial for us, the community aspect of the platform and the feedback that we get. So unless you have any questions, we can start with the first principle. Okay, so the first thing is adopt a digital mindset. And when I say that, it means that everything that related to your property data, to your portfolio, should be stored securely in the cloud. Why in the cloud? Because if it's like in the cloud, you basically can access it from everywhere and at any time. So for instance, Landlord and any other app is, not any other app, but I think that this is like now the global trend, is available also on your mobile, and of course from your desktop, from any web browser. It's like you don't need to install anything. So let's go to the Landlord platform. So this is the main dashboard. In the main dashboard, you can see a high-level overview of your entire portfolio. So for instance, how much is your, what is your current loan to value and how much you have in equity. Potential savings we'll touch like perhaps like later in the call, but this is something that based on the data, the platform can find you opportunities to save some costs, your status in terms of your rent collection this month, some tax insights, your expenses breakdown. This is of course high level overview on the entire portfolio. I will show you like how you can break down it into the individual properties. And also some charts in terms of your growth of the cash flow over the years, and also the growth of your portfolio over the years in terms of value, mortgage balance, and equity. You can also find any reminder that is important for you and from many aspects. So if I go back to the first principle, to store everything in the cloud, on Landlord you have this page, My Portfolio. My Portfolio is the place to store your property details. When you just getting started with Landlord, you can just add very few details. You can do it by click Add or Add Property, and then you have a sidebar with all the relevant fields. Or you can use a new feature that we just launched this week to upload a CSV. So if you maintain a portfolio CSV on a spreadsheet, if you maintain portfolio on a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet or Google spreadsheet, you can just convert it to CSV file and you can import the file, and then it's very easy onboarding to upload all of your data. And after that, you can just click on the edit icon on each property and tweak the data. There are no mandatory fields. You can just like put the basic fields, store the details, and then go back and add more details. So this is the place to put all of your property details. We have different sections. You have the general fields, you have the mortgage data. Then if you want to enhance, you can put any other extra deal on the detail on the property. What is the property activity? The construction, is it standard or non-standard, the property type, and any other detail. And you have sections for your landlord insurance fields. And here, basically, any due date that you will put here, you will get alert. So you get a reminder that there is something that you need to do. If it's like your renewal of your landlord insurance, if it's your gas safety certificate due date, electrical check, or even tenancy agreement, an EPC, etc. So it's up to you how much data you want to store, and you can start with very few and then enhance it as you go. And you can see immediately how your metrics are like with each property that you add, what is your entire portfolio value, entire loan balance, and the other metrics. The good thing with Landlord is that you can store subset of properties. So let's say that you have properties on a private ownership. So you can take a look only on them, and you can see only the properties that under company ownership. And if you have even like many companies, then you can see each company and with its properties. And also you can maintain portfolios with multiple owners. So let's say that in this portfolio, we have 3 owners, James, Kate, and Dan. I can see only the properties of James, only the properties of Kate and Dan. Now, this is, and if I want just to see the share of Dan on this property, I will just like use this toggle, and then you can see that this is like in terms of equity, this is the share of Dan in this portfolio. And this is the value of his like 4 properties, but he owns, let's say, I don't know, like 70% on one property, 50% on other, and because of that, the number is different. So just to summarize the first point, this is the place to store your data. You can also upload your documents on each property. You can deep dive into a property page and see the metrics just for this specific property, upload your photos, etc. And all of this is accessible also from your mobile. So this is the first point. Any questions, or we can go to the second point. Okay. So there is something on the chat. Okay, so let's go to the next point. Track everything. So when I say track everything, there are like basically two things, important things that you need to track. So my portfolio is your basically, you know, something that is quite static unless you are a very active property investor, and you still can keep it on Landlord. We keep 60 months of historical data. So if you buy and sell properties, you can keep track also the trend of the changes in your portfolio. But when we say like tracking and like ongoing, we usually speak about your cash flow. So in Landlord, you have the profit and loss model, the profit and loss page, and this is a great place to keep track your income and expenses on an ongoing basis. So you can see your net cash flow on each property or on like a subset of properties, like using the filters. You can also take a look on the net cash flow per owner and the share of the owner in this in the net cash flow. So the way that we recommend our users to track the information is using the transactions page. So here you can import transaction. We speak about the automation side of that, and you can allocate any transaction to a property and also to a payment of a tenant. Okay, so and once you track it, then you can see your rent collection status for each month. So how much was paid, how much is due, and how much is overdue. Yeah, in this example, I didn't update the data, but this is basically like a month that I got paid like very few, and you know, you have like the overdue, so you can track it. You can see which tenant and what is like the delay on the rent. And then let's go back to the profit and loss. If you keep track it and basically every month or every week even, like you update the new transactions, income and expenses, you can take a look on your metrics. You can see what is your current yield, current cash on cash. When we say cash on cash, we usually, like in Landlord, we take the cash flow, the net cash flow on your cash investment on each property. So basically we calculate how much cash you invested in property and how much cash this property generates. And a good place is to come back to my portfolio, and here basically you can switch to a different view. We call it the performance view. And in the performance view, I can take a look on my last 12 months net cash flow on each property. I can also order by, so I can see it from the top to the bottom, and I can see basically which properties are now performing, which properties performing, outperforming, underperforming. And we also generate a report for our users every week to review the metrics and the entire portfolio. And also here, you can see the performance of the entire portfolio. And you can pick a specific property, and you can see the ranking of this property if you compare it to other properties on the portfolio. So you can see, like in terms of performance, this property ranked 9th out of 15. This is the cash on cash number, the gross in number, and the rank of this, and you can continue and browse all of your properties and take a look on the metrics. So this is like the second principle, and I think we can go back to the next one. We can go to the next one. Any questions? Feel free to ask, by the way. Like,
sorry, I had a question, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so how much does this software cost? How much would a user pay for it?
Okay, good question. So the core functionality, all what I showed like so far, and I will show like more things like in the next points. So the core functionality is free to use. So you can create a free account, upload your data, and start work with the platform. The way we monetize the platform is partnering with the third-party providers. So it can be like in finance, insurance, tax, and things like that. We are not forcing our user to use our providers, and we don't pass on any details to third parties without explicit permission. Can give you example, like if we have like a finance side to the app, so you can search for mortgage products, for instance. So if you see a result on Landlord, let me do it from here. So for instance, here I found like a product from the Mortgage Works that can save you. This is like actually, this is a rate switch. So it's a product transfer. So you need to do it. So if
that's good. I like that because as I say, I use the Mortgage Works. That's actually a good product it's offering there. So that's 9 is it offering a good product. That sort of thing also allows it to be free to the end user. So I think that's a brilliant idea, to be honest.
Thank you. And we just, by the way, signed the partnership with the Mortgage Works, and this is the largest lender, buy-to-let lender in the UK. So we hope other lenders will join as well. So basically, you can access their direct team. So you can work directly with Team W based on the platform recommendation. And this is like the way we monetize the platform, and then we get a commission, and we also share some of the commission with the user. It usually won't be so high, for this example, it's like a high, I think, amount of the mortgage, but it's like some percent. It really depends on the size of the mortgage. So this is like one thing. And we also have a premium plan if you upgrade the platform to automate the transactions with linking into bank accounts. This is, but perhaps, perhaps we can touch the next point, and then I can, but the cost of the premium plan is just like £12 per month if you're on an yearly plan, and 15 if you're like a monthly plan. But again, there are many users, you don't use it, they found like a way to, to automate it with, we have some recurring options, or they can just like enter their account every week, put all the transactions and map them. So yeah, so let's continue to the next one, and feel free to stop me with any question. Did I answer, by the way? It's okay? Okay.
Yeah, no, your answer was brilliant, and it's also lets your answers obviously let the people know what a great deal it is, because it's not very often you get something like this for free. You know what I mean? That's basically offering so much functionality. So yeah, no, thanks for your answer. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the next point is automate whatever you can. So you can do everything manually, but like one of the good things that happened like in the last few years, like one of them is the open banking. So we integrated our platform to the open banking, a company called Plaid. So basically everything they are regulated by the FCA, everything is secured. If you choose to connect your bank account with them, they, I think, support almost all the banks in the UK. So you can find your bank. They will redirect you to their website, the bank website, to put your credentials. In this, by the way, like Landlord, they don't have any connections to your credentials. This is like something that goes through Plaid, a flow, and it's fully secured and regulated by the FCA. So you don't need to worry about your credentials. What we get is a feed, read-only feed to your bank account. So after you connect your bank account, I won't do it now, the platform will retrieve every day new transactions from your bank account, and you can just like allocate them to a property and to a payment, and if it's like expense, allocate them to a property, and then you can also classify it category. And the automation side of that, when I say like automate everything, is that if let's say that you have a landlord insurance that you pay every month, £12, okay, or you have your mortgage costs that you pay every month on the same date. So when you use the feed of your bank account, you can tell the platform that this is a recurring expense or a recurring income, and the algorithm of the platform will recognize this expense next month and will allocate it automatically. So you can just review what happened, and everything is like basically automated. I think this part is not like a mandatory part, but it makes the life more easier. For sure, if you have more than, let's say, like 1-2 properties, so basically you have more transactions to handle. So the automation side of it is very important. We just introduced today linkage also to accounting software. Where is it? Yeah, Zero, the first one. So if you already link your bank account to Zero, and we will keep enhancing it like as we go to other accounting softwares. So you have all the transactions there. You just need to link your Zero account to Landlord, and then we will retrieve the transactions from there. Okay, so you don't have to integrate directly your bank account. So this is like another option, and we keep enhance it to other accounting software. And also in the roadmap is like to support the making tax digital reform from the HMRC. This is something that will be mandatory in 2023. So if you are a VAT registered, you will need to report your tax returns in a digital way with the software every quarter, if I'm not mistaken. So Landlord, the plan is that Landlord will be part of that, so you can use Landlord for that as well. So one side of the automation is the feed, and the other side is what I showed you before, is like the potential savings. So our algorithm run every week to find mortgage or remortgage opportunities for you. And if we found one, if it's like a product rate switch, so basically you need to, like the discounted rate, the fixed period is ended, you need to switch. Or even if it's like during the period, if we found like a remortgage option for you, you can see, okay, if you put, by the way, it's very important to enter your early redemption fees on this product, and then you can see how much basically you can save. And we have, we cover basically 30 lenders, and if you don't find like lender that you want to work, you can go to the mortgage search and run a search here. But yeah, let's try in company. Oh, I think there is a problem now, but like usually you can go to this page and search for a specific product based on a specific case. So this is like another side. So if you maintain the data on the platform, we will like start like the engine of like the Landlord will start finding opportunities for you every week. So this is like another side of the automation. It's like another reward to put your data in the cloud. Questions, and then we'll go to the fourth principle.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hi Aviram. Evening, everyone. I was just going to mention about the early repayment charges. Before I had Lendlord, I did a remortgage and I completely forgot about the early repayment charges from the previous mortgage, and they hadn't expired. And on the day of completion, to my utter horror, there was the fee of 7,900 early repayment charge, which I didn't know about. And it's these little things that can really fall through the crack if you're not very organized with your portfolio and recording all this important data. And obviously Lendlord is very much about helping you be efficient in recording that data. And actually, just my example alone, if I'd been using Lendlord, I would probably be 7,900 better off, because I would have gone and looked when that ERC expired and probably waited to remortgage after that. So the devil is always in the detail in property, as we know. So put as much detail into Lendlord as you can. The more you input, the better your outputs will be and the better the intel that it gives you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Vanessa. Okay. So next point is analyze your investments. So this is another part that Vanessa also helped us a lot with, that the deal analyzer, Vanessa and Nick, and the community of Property Tribe. So the deal analyzer basically is when you are now looking at a new property and you want to analyze your investment. So you can put the address of the property. You can put basically just two attributes: the purchase price and the expected rent. Then the platform with its defaults will calculate your first year metrics in terms of the cash flow, cash on cash, the ROI of the first year and the cap rate, and also what are your long-term metrics. After you put just those two details, you can start tweaking the data. So let's say that you are going to invest some in refurbishment or furnishing, and you have the other costs. Like, our recommendation, like, be on the safe side, be conservative, put all the costs you think you are going to spend on this deal, because this will impact your return. Then go to your cash investment, how much you want or how much you should put on in cash, and of course it will impact your mortgage. So, you know, as low, like the LTV is very important to get the rate, and also how much you need to put as a down payment. Then you need to put your operating monthly expenses for this property, and put your long-term assumptions. So how many years you are going to hold, or you should hold this property. You can use the metrics on top to make your decision. What is going to be the occupancy rate? Okay, you can plan for it as well. So not all the time you could rent this property, so put an assumption here. What is going to be your property appreciation over the years, the rent appreciation, and the inflation? All of this will impact your numbers, so you can see it straight away. If you change to a capital and interest mortgage, how it will impact your return as well. So you can basically tweak any detail here and see the deal numbers change, and you can deep dive into the prospect report, and here you can get all the details that you enter. You can print this, export it to a PDF and then print it. You can see the development of the equity over the years based on your property valuation assumption, the development of your cash flow, expenses breakdown, and holding period breakdown as well. So this is something that is very important when you analyze a new deal. We have also a flip analyzer, and the good thing is, I think that this is something that we encourage our users to do. that you can also evaluate your existing properties with the deal analyzer. So you can go to existing property, click on the deal analyzer. The platform will take the data, the existing data that you have, the current property value that you put, and you can put long-term assumptions, and there you can see how it will impact your existing property. And here again, you can use the views to compare. Let's go to the performance view. Okay, so what is my 10 years ROI, IRR for this property? And you can add, by the way, any other field that you want and store it to the view. Yeah, that's it. I have it already here. So this is very important. So when you are look at a new property, or if you want to evaluate your existing properties, you can use the deal analyzer. And again, be conservative, put all the costs that you think that will be like involved in this deal to be on the safe side. Question, by the way, there is another thing that you can do. This is also part of the premium plan, is to get some information about the postcode. It's like another addition to the deal analyzer. So basically, if you want to put assumptions on the property valuation, you can take a look what happened in this postcode in the last 5 years, and you can take a look on other important data that's relevant to this property and the postcode. Price per square foot. We also like some data on the demographic, the commute methods, politics, age distribution, schools, and more. Questions before we go to the last principle? Okay. So this is something that we always say, make decision based on data, less on intuition. So if you like start a digital life and you store all your data on the cloud, and you start to generate insights, and you review your portfolio metrics on a weekly basis, I would say, then you are like in control. And then if you need to take now a decision, you know what is your current situation, you know how much equity you have, what is the performance of your existing properties, what is your expenses breakdown, where you can save perhaps money, what is your tax situation, and basically it can give you more confidence when you are going to take your next decision in terms of your property business. So data is very important thing, and to organize your data, I think like, to use digital tools is like crucial. So you need that. And if you have the data, then you make better decisions. So basically this is my last point. And now actually, I think, Ed, tell me if we have like 10 minutes left, like perhaps we can, if you have any question on the plot, or we finish the time.
And what we can do a Q&A now, actually, because the plan was that you can do your main presentation. I can basically do Q&A because I've got some questions to ask you. So
sure, yeah. So let's do the Q&As now. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, just some housekeeping for the Q&As, and obviously make sure you unmute yourselves. If you want to ask Aviram a question. Yeah, I'll start. Are you going to develop this into an app for like the iPhone or the Android?
Yeah, good question. So we have an Android app, and the iOS app, there is a delay. We hope to release it. We say it a lot, but there is like a thing that we need to complete, but hopefully like in the next few weeks or a few months, but it will be there. In the meantime, you can use your web browser from your mobile because the platform is responsive. So if you use it from your Safari or from your iPhone, you can see all of your data and do all the operations. And on Android, we have an app on Google Play. So hopefully, like soon on the App Store as well.
Now, brilliant. In fact, another question as well. How many users are there globally?
Okay, so our initial market is the UK. We look at it as a very
Look,
interesting market, and we currently have over 4,300 users. All of them, most of them are in the UK.
I need to check with Yvette about this.
I'm sorry, there's a bit of interference. I'm just going to mute someone. Bear with us a sec. Continue, Aviram.
There are some few in other territories in Europe, and also few in the United States. That this is like one of our goals. So we want to also to introduce Landlord to US landlords and US property investors. We have a version for the US, and also if you want to manage your platform with a different landlord account in different currency, you can do it. And you can also use different locations. Like if you own property in France, you can also put the address. So you can see everything now in euros, and you can see your properties in a map. So if you have like a global portfolio, you can also store it on Landlord. Just put the address. If it's like a foreign address, put it on the address field, store property, and you will see it on a map on a different location. And also you can change the currency of your data.
Very impressive. Okay, have we got another question for our first international speaker? Remember to unmute yourself, whoever asks it. Any more questions? You can also type.
Ed, there's one in the chat. There's a question in the chat.
Okay, I'll just open it up. Okay, yes, this is a question from Peter. Is zero integration released yet?
Hello, Peter. Yeah, I spoke with Peter. Was like, by the way, one of the users that encouraged us like to do the zero integration. So it just released today, and because of that, it's not highlighted. So because of that, you can't find it yet. If you can wait 1 or 2 days, and I will approach you directly, and also like all the users will get an announcement with a video on how to do it. So it's in here now, but it's like still like we test it. It's like we released like a beta version that our team is testing. So, but in 2 days it should be available for all users.
Brilliant. There's also been another question from Zach, which Vanessa's answered as well, but I actually want to sort of expand on that. Aviram, in the UK, I don't know what it's like over in Israel, there's a well-known property strategy known as rent-to-rent, where basically someone effectively rents a property off a landlord and then sublets it to their own tenant. It's becoming very popular. Now, I know Vanessa's already answered this, but I'm just out of curiosity, do you have many people from a rent-to-rent background who use Landlord in general, or are you unable to know?
I'm not sure. I believe there are. What Vanessa answered, perhaps, I believe Vanessa perhaps you can jump in and give your answer, Vanessa?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. I just basically said that you could use Lendlord for the rent-to-rent model, but instead of obviously where the mortgage field was, you would put the rent to the landlord in the mortgage field, because that was essentially your monthly commitment to the property. And then the total rent you were receiving from the tenants, you would obviously put in the rent field. If you were subletting on a room by room basis, which is what most people do to achieve a margin on rent to rent, then you would use the same kind of format that you would use from an HMO, which is to put in individual tenants and individual rooms. And there is the facility on Landlord to add individual rooms in a property and then assign a tenant to each room. And the rent that they're paying, and then that goes towards the total rent. The other good thing about it, which Aviram hasn't had time to really focus on, is that there is a large portfolio stroke property management module, which pretty much helps with all your compliance, reminds you of when gas safety certificate is due, when a tenancy is ending, all the other bits and pieces that you need to know about running and maintaining a tenancy. So it has reminders that pop up, and you can actually set the frequency of the reminders to your preferred frequency. So you can, for instance, ask to be reminded 3 months before an event happens, then 1 month, then 2 weeks, then 1 week, whatever it is, just to keep you on your toes and make sure that you act on that reminder. So Aviram, in fairness, has only had a chance to scratch the surface of Lendlord tonight. It's like an onion. It's got many, many layers. It goes very, very deep, and you can just swim around in the top layers if you like, and that's what suits you. Or if you're a serious portfolio landlord, you'll probably go into the very deep layers and use all the functionality within those. So it's really just to customize however you want to use it. All I can ever say, and Aviram will concur, is that the more data that you put in, and you must put accurate data in if you want to expect to get accurate data out. So just put very accurate data in. You only have to do it once, populate it once, it's all up and running. And then obviously if you get a rent increase or you get a change of mortgage interest rate, you'll want to go in and just change those fields as and when that activity occurs, and just keep it all very, very up to date. You know, I've just applied for a remortgage yesterday, as it happens, and I had everything at my fingertips to go to the application, and I actually made a PDF of my portfolio spreadsheet and sent that to the lender, rather than filling out all their endless forms of, you know, what's this property, what's that property. So ultimately it saves you time, and that's one thing that landlords can never ever get back. So you do need to value your own time, and Landlord helps you do that.
Yeah, it's a good point, Vanessa, in terms of we just added view called mortgage view. So with all the details that the lender would require, or a broker, so you can just download the data to an Excel spreadsheet and send it over in one click.
Oh, I've just had another question in my WhatsApp. Aviram, is there plans to do a version for property developers analysing the GDV and doing, like, if effectively a track on the progress of a development and the sales of a development?
So there is a plan, but it's like a future plan. What we do today for developers, like we release the flip analyzer. So in the flip analyzer, you can analyze short-term projects. And you put the GDP, you've got like ARV, but this is like the value, you know, after you do the development of property, and you can see what is going to be a return. Also, if like what is the length of the project, and also you can take a look on the finance options. And you know, one important thing, we just released. Yeah, you can also calculate like the bridging finance. So we have now like an online bridging finance that you can generate head of terms basically in 3 minutes. So you can see what is going to be your bridging finance rate, and if you are happy with the rate, then basically you can apply online and track your application in Landlord. So this is a collaboration of Landlord and a UK funder. So we use our technology to generate the head of terms, and we use our technology to underwrite the deal. And we are very flexible, and the process is very fast. We encourage, of course, our users to use it. And there are benefits to Landlord user, 10% discount on the arrangement fee, and the rates should be even better if you maintain your portfolio details on Landlord. if you decide to proceed, then you can also track your application online. So you can see what is the stage of your application, what is the next step, what is the message from the underwriter. You can schedule a call with the underwriter. So it makes, it's basically streamlined the bridging finance process as well. So this is like for developers. So this is what we have. We have Flip Analyzer, we have bridging finance facility, and hopefully we will also do like some project tracking in the future.
That'd be very useful actually, but yeah, it sounds like it's very much a complete package.
I was just going to jump in there and say, if you are, for instance, a deal sourcer, you could use the deal analyzer to assess and appraise deals, and then when you find one that fits your criteria or the criteria of your investor group, then you've got an immediate, screenshot of the entire performance of that deal. So it's a very, very useful tool if you're acquiring properties for yourself, and you can maybe assess 30 properties in a very short space of time. You can kick out all the ones that don't perform to your specifications, instead of wasting loads of time stacking deals and going to see deals that don't add up. So you can use Lendlord very much as a filter system to filter out bad deals. And as my friend John Howard is always saying, some of the best deals that you do are the ones that you walk away from, because if you ended up doing them, they could financially crucify you. So
very true.
Lendlord serves the whole landlord life of what we call pre-acquisition, when you are doing your due diligence, thinking about getting into property, looking at deals, etc., through to acquisition, which is the actual legal process of buying a property and getting your name on the title, through to management and portfolio growth, which is the longest phase of the landlord life cycle, because people are often in a relationship with a property for 20 to 25 years. And then finally, your exit is when you end your landlord life or you dispose of your portfolio. So actually Lendlord supports you through the entire landlord life cycle, wherever you are. And I think for newbies, if you can get into it now when you're just starting out, you will have quite an edge over other investors, because you've got all of this information at your fingertips. It's going to help you make very wise decisions, as Aviram has said, decisions based on data, not guesswork or back of the fag packet calculations. It will help you work very efficiently. You can add all your properties as you acquire them and see your portfolio building up and grow with the software and your portfolio. And obviously Lendlord's only been around about 18 months, 2 years. When I came to it, I'd been a landlord for 17 years and I had quite a sizable portfolio. So I had to put all of my properties into the software. Nick had previously made me a very rudimentary Excel spreadsheet, which I'd been using for years. In fairness, it only took me about half an hour to put in each property and the main details. But if again, I'm just really going to encourage people that are in the early phase of their landlord journey to embrace this digital life, because it will help you be more efficient, it will save time, it will save money, it will mitigate your risk. There's so many things it does. I mean, just a small thing is on the tax module, it's got a list of all the tax expenses that you can claim against your property business. So it almost acts like a prompt. And Aviram and I went to a top property tax expert and came up with this whole list of these things that you can claim. And you'll see it there. Aviram's just giving a little demo of it. But there'll be things on there that you didn't even know that you could claim. And you definitely should claim everything against your business that you're entitled to. So again, little things like that. make a huge difference. And as I say, everything at your fingertips. We call it carrying your portfolio in your pocket. And we've got users that have done transactions on their yacht when they're sailing in the Mediterranean, when they've got internet, or users that have purposefully got on board with Lendlord because they want to spend a year traveling. These are all very good reasons why you should adopt digital technology. It really is the way forward, and I think we can all agree that COVID-19 has really accelerated the adoption of tech. It solved huge amount of problems during lockdown the last year or so, this is your chance to really jump on board and embrace a digital lifestyle, because that is the future and the way everything is going, and with good reason.
Very much so. Can't really disagree with that, Vanessa. And I think you're completely right, especially in the COVID-19 era. Things have accelerated. I don't drive half as much as I did a year ago, and this is no exception. So yeah, anyway, I'd like to give a massive round of applause for our first ever international speaker, Aviram Shahar, all the way from Tel Aviv, Israel. Who would have thought that, all that time ago we were in that cramped hotel, we'd be having international speakers. Wow. Virtual round of applause, everyone. Come on.
Thank you.
A bit louder, come on. There's only one clap.
Yay! Yay!
That's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. We like it loud. We like it a bit more hype. This is me hosting the meet. All right. Anyway,